I walked out in the middle of our first date and it turned into one of the most defining moments of my life. So yeah, I, 29M, did something last week that most people would call rude, impulsive, or even dramatic. I stood up in the middle of a dinner date and walked out. No scene. No shouting. Just left. But the crazy thing is, I don't regret it. Not even for a second. In fact, I think it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Let me explain. A few weeks ago, I matched with this woman on Bumble. Let's call her Sophie, 27F. She had that kind of profile that makes you pause, funny bio, great smile, pictures that looked natural, not overly filtered. You know what I mean? Someone who looks real. She mentioned loving books, dogs, and Italian food. So yeah, we had a few good conversations, and I thought, why not? I asked her out to dinner, nothing fancy, just a nice, quiet Italian spot downtown. It was one of those cozy places where the lighting is soft, the music is slow, and the smell of baked bread hits you as soon as you walk in. I showed up 10 minutes early, nervous, but that good kind of nervous. The one that means you actually care about how the night goes. She walked in right on time. And I swear, for a second, the whole room dimmed around her. She looked amazing, black dress, hair down, that confident smile people get when they know they're turning heads. She waved, came over, we hugged, and honestly, the first 20 minutes were perfect. We ordered drinks, joked about dating apps, talked about travel. She told me she'd just come back from Spain, and I told her I've always wanted to go. But slowly, something shifted. It started small. She interrupted me a few times, like, every time I tried to tell a story, she'd jump in and finish my sentence. Usually wrong, but with that little laugh that says, "Oh, I'm just teasing." At first, I laughed it off. First date nerves, right? We've all been there. But the interruptions got worse. Then came the sarcasm. Then, the little digs. She said things like, "You're not one of those guys who still lives with roommates, are you?" Or, when I said I work in customer support. "Ah, so you're basically paid to apologize all day." I smiled awkwardly and said, something like that. But inside, I started feeling that sinking feeling. Still, I tried to stay positive. Maybe she just had a weird sense of humor. Maybe she was nervous too. Then came the moment that completely flipped the switch. The waiter came by, super nice guy. Mid-20s, friendly, the kind of server who makes you feel welcome. He asked if we wanted sparkling or still water. And she, without missing a beat, snapped. "Does it matter? Just bring something that doesn't taste like tap." It wasn't even what she said, it was how she said it. Cold. Sharp. Like he was beneath her. The guy looked embarrassed, gave a polite nod, and walked away. I remember feeling this wave of discomfort wash over me. You know that feeling when someone says something so rude that it physically makes you shrink in your seat? Yeah. That. I tried to steer the conversation somewhere else, but she rolled her eyes and said, "Ugh, I swear, half the people in service jobs can't do the bare minimum." And that hit me. Because I've been that guy. I've worked those jobs. I've been treated like I'm invisible, like I don't matter. And here she was, judging a stranger for literally doing his job. Something in me started to close off. I decided to test the waters, to see if maybe she was just having an off moment. I said, "So, how was Spain?" Her face lit up. "Oh, amazing. I stayed in Barcelona for a week. Beautiful city. But honestly, the waiters there were even worse. You had to beg them for service." I stared at her, trying to find the humor. There was none. She kept going. "I just don't understand people who settle for jobs like that. Like, imagine being 30 and still serving tables." I said, "Well, my brother's a barista. He's actually saving up for med school." And without missing a beat, she smirked and said, "Well, I hope he learns to aim higher than pouring coffee." That was it. I was done. I took a slow breath. I remember staring at my glass of water, the condensation running down the side, and realizing I didn't want to be there anymore. Not for another minute. Not for another sip. So I smiled, pushed my chair back, and stood up. She looked at me, half confused, half amused. "Where are you going?" I said, as calmly as possible. "I think I've heard enough for one night." She laughed. "Oh, come on, you're not actually leaving, right?" But when I reached for my jacket, her expression dropped. "You're serious?" I nodded. "Yeah. I just don't think we're a good match." She scoffed. "You're walking out? Over a joke?" I said. "It's not about the joke. It's about how you treat people." And I left. No yelling, no scene. Just walked out. As I passed the waiter, he gave me this tiny, understanding nod. Like he knew exactly what had just happened. I stepped outside. Cool air hit my face. And for the first time that night, I felt like I could breathe again. I didn't even make it to my car before my phone buzzed. "Wow. You just left? Pathetic." Then another. "Could have at least paid your half." And then, "Good luck finding someone who'll tolerate your fragile ego." I didn't respond. I just kept walking. Ended up at a small coffee shop a few blocks away. Ordered a latte. Sat down by the window. I don't know how to explain it, but I felt peaceful. Because for once, I didn't overthink it. I didn't sit there trying to justify someone else's behavior. I didn't make excuses like maybe she's having a bad day or maybe I'm being too sensitive. No. I just walked away. Later that night, I opened Reddit and wrote about it. Didn't expect much. Just wanted to vent. But man, that post blew up. Thousands of comments. Some said I was harsh. Some said they'd done the same thing. But one comment hit me harder than all the others. It said, "Sometimes walking away isn't disrespectful. It's refusing to sit at a table where respect doesn't exist." And that line stuck with me. Because for most of my life, I've been the guy who stays. The one who smiles through discomfort. Who lets people talk down to me just to keep the peace. But that night, I realized sometimes peace isn't about staying calm. It's about knowing when to leave. The next morning, I woke up to one last text from her. It said, "I told my friends about you. They said you overreacted." I smiled, deleted her number, and went on with my day. And honestly, I hope she finds someone who matches her energy. But that person isn't me. Because I'd rather eat alone at a table full of respect than dine with someone who looks down on others. Update: the girl I walked out on saw my Reddit post and things got wild. Hey Reddit. It's been about a week since I posted the story about walking out in the middle of my first date. Honestly, I didn't expect it to blow up the way it did. I thought maybe a few people would comment, share their thoughts, move on. But, wow. It exploded. Thousands of upvotes. Hundreds of DMs. And the craziest part? Sophie found it. I'll be honest, I should have known it would happen. The post hit the front page, people were debating it on TikTok, YouTube, even Twitter. Someone actually made a video titled, "He walked out mid-date, was he right?" And that's how, apparently, Sophie's friend recognized the story. Because a few days after posting, I got a text. A number I'd deleted. It was her. "So, you posted about me on Reddit?" My stomach dropped. Not because I felt guilty, but because I knew where this was going. Before I could reply, another message came through. "You made me sound like a monster. You left out half the story." I sat there for a minute. Half the story? There wasn't another half. So I texted back. "I didn't use your name. No one knows it's you." She replied almost instantly. "Doesn't matter. My friends recognized it." I'm getting DMs from random people calling me a Reddit villain. Thanks for that. I sighed. It wasn't meant to go this far. I just wanted to tell my story. But then she sent one more message. You could have just talked to me instead of humiliating me online. That part actually made me pause. Because, yeah, I hadn't planned for this to blow up. But at the same time, she humiliated other people in real life. That waiter. Me. And I wasn't the one who turned it into a viral debate, the internet did. A few hours later, I got another message. This time, longer. I reread your post. And you're right. I was rude. I get that now. I was nervous and trying to seem confident, and I came off like an asshole. You didn't deserve that. But reading the comments hurt more than anything. People hate me and they don't even know me. I guess I just wanted you to know I'm not as awful as that one night made me seem. And you know what? That message felt different. For the first time, it didn't sound defensive. It sounded like she was actually reflecting on what happened. So I replied. I don't hate you. I just didn't want to sit somewhere I felt disrespected. Maybe it was a bad night for both of us. She just sent back. Fair. Still, I hope your brother makes it to med school. That part made me smile. I thought that was the end of it. But, of course, the internet doesn't let things end quietly. Someone on TikTok found the restaurant. Tracked it down from tiny details in the post. People started leaving reviews saying things like, "Shout out to the waiter who witnessed the great Bumble exit." Even the restaurant's Instagram posted a meme about it. A picture of an empty chair with the caption, "Sometimes walking away is the best tip you can give." I can't lie. I laughed. So yeah, that's the update. Sophie saw the post, we talked it out, and honestly, I think we both learned something from it. She told me that the comments were a harsh wake-up call. And that she's been trying to be more patient with people lately. I don't know if that's true. But I genuinely hope it is. As for me, I didn't expect a viral story to teach me something about boundaries. But here's what I've realized. Sometimes we think walking away makes us the bad guy. When, in reality, it just makes space for someone better to walk in. Final update, I met her again and you won't believe where. So, I honestly thought that was it. We'd talked, cleared the air, and moved on with our lives. The post stopped trending, new drama took its place, and I figured the internet had already forgotten about the guy who walked out on his date. But life has a weird sense of humor. About 3 weeks later, my company hosted this networking event, one of those after-hours mixers where people from different departments get to meet and talk. Free drinks, some music, business cards flying everywhere. I'm chatting with a few people from HR when my coworker says, "Oh, let me introduce you to our new communications consultant. She just started this week." I turn around and there she is. Sophie. For a solid 2 seconds, we just stared at each other, both realizing exactly who we were looking at. She broke the silence first. "Oh. Hey, small world?" I laughed nervously. "Yeah. Very small." I could feel everyone around us sensing something. But thankfully no one knew the story. We just kind of smiled politely and went our separate ways for the night. But I'd be lying if I said it didn't mess with my head a bit. Over the next few weeks, I'd see her around the office from time to time. In meetings. In the cafeteria. Always professional, always polite, but there was this quiet tension. Not bad tension, just unspoken history. One day, we both ended up staying late to prep for a presentation. It was just us in the office, the lights dim, laptops glowing. After a long silence, she said, "You know, I still think about that night sometimes." I looked up. "Me too. Can't exactly forget it, can we?" She smiled, a real one this time. "No. But I think we both needed it. You walking out honestly made me realize how I was treating people. It sucked, but it helped. That caught me off guard. I didn't expect her to say that. So I replied, "Well, at least something good came out of it." Then she laughed quietly. "Yeah. Just promise me if we ever grab dinner again, you'll stay till dessert?" I grinned. "Deal." We never dated again, though. We stayed friendly co-workers, occasionally grabbing coffee, cracking jokes about our legendary first date. And weirdly enough, I'm glad that's how it ended. No drama. No bitterness. Just closure. Sometimes, life gives you a full circle moment, not to rekindle something, but to remind you that growth did happen. So yeah, Reddit, that's the final update. The girl I walked out on turned out to be my coworker. No romantic movie ending, just two people who embarrassed themselves once and learned a lot from it. And if there's one thing I took from all of this, it's this. You never really know who'll walk back into your life. So when you do cross paths again, make sure you've both grown enough to smile about it. So, that's the story, folks. What would you have done in his shoes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for even crazier Reddit stories. Catch you next time.